his gun at a deer. But as he pulled the trigger, the bullet struck a small boy. Both of them went blank. They couldn't believe what had happened. Running to the boy, they saw that it was indeed a child who had been shot. Nick felt the ground slip from under his feet. He knelt down and tried to wake the child, but the child who had been shot in the forehead was completely dead. The sight of this devastated Nick. Just then, hearing the gunshot, the boy's father arrived, and as he saw his son's body, his face turned stone-like. Seeing his son's murderer standing before him, he picked up the gun without thinking. Nick tried to reason with him, but the father was overcome with rage. He only wanted revenge for his son, but before he could pull the trigger, a bullet ripped through his chest, sending him crashing to the ground. The shot was fired by Nick's friend, Anton, who, in an attempt to save his friend, committed another murder. In the blink of an eye, 2 lives were lost. Nick was lost in shock. Little did they know that people who had come all this way to hunt would turn out to be murderers. Nick was terrified, but his friend Anton was remarkably calm. He dragged both bodies and hid them in the bushes. Then he put Nick in the car and drove off. Nick was at a loss. What should he do now? But Anton drove the car north to the forest and began preparing to hunt again. Nick, shocked, asked, "What are you doing now?" Anton explained that it was all to fabricate a story to make it seem like they were hunting in that forest. If they had simply run away, it would have proved they were the murderers. So they had to behave normally and go at night to destroy the evidence and the bodies. Nick agreed, and to destroy the evidence, they went to a nearby town. He showed his face at a grocery store and told the shopkeeper that they were hunting there. Afterward, they returned to their hotel, but their fear hadn't subsided. If they had stayed hidden in the hotel, the villagers would have become suspicious. So, they hid their fear and went straight to the village's biggest bar. The village headman invited them to dinner. The headman personally hosted every outside hunter. Anton explained that they were in the northern forest, and as night fell, they returned to the scene. Nick was busy digging a hole to hide the bodies and evidence. Then Anton remembered something. The bullet they had fired. If the police found it, it could lead them to their arrest. A search revealed 1 bullet in a tree, but the other was missing. Then he remembered that the second bullet had hit the boy's head. He felt the boy's head and found the bullet still inside. He cut off the boy's head with a knife, removed the bullet, put the evidence in a bag, and put it in the car's trunk. He returned to the hotel. They hoped no one had seen them that night, but Nick noticed a child upstairs watching them. But the child was small, so they ignored it. They decided to leave the next morning, but tired, they woke up late. When they got ready and came downstairs, they saw the villagers gathered around their car, and the tires had been punctured. Anton went downstairs, afraid, but it turned out he hadn't been stopped for murder. In fact, Anton had molested a man's daughter at a bar a few days earlier, and the man had punctured his tires in anger. He wanted to teach him a lesson, but the village head intervened and calmed the situation. Now the car's tires were punctured, and the escape plan was aborted.